Okay, imagine waking up and suddenly your body hates everything. Your favorite wine, instant headache. Pollen, you're like a walking tissue box. This isn't just perimenopause weirdness. There's a very specific biochemical shift happening inside you right now. And once you see it, you can start to take back control. So let's talk about what's actually happening here. During perimenopause, our hormone starts to do a little bit of a dance. I'm talking about progesterone and estrogen levels. Kind of like these two wild kids here. They become a little offbeat. Sometimes we tend to think that the hormone levels, they just drop. But during perimenopause, this can last 10 years or more. They will fluctuate wildly. And guess what?
What?
This change in hormones can actually influence how your immune system works, especially estrogen. It has a significant influence on mast cells, and mast cells are these immune cells that act kind of like emergency response coordinators. Their job is to watch anything that might hurt you. And normally estrogen and mast cells, they work well together, and estrogen tends to help to keep them alert but calm. But when estrogen levels are unpredictable, mast cells become a little more reactive. And what happens next is mast cells get triggered and they start releasing histamine. And that's the chemical that is responsible for those pesky allergy symptoms. It's like your immune system gets a little overprotective. It might start reacting to things it used to simply ignore. And suddenly what was once fine now can trigger a full-blown response. And it's not just in your head. Your body is genuinely shifting at the very biochemical level. So let's talk about those familiar seasonal allergies. Maybe you've always had them, but now those sniffles, the itchy eyes, that scratchy throat, they just feel so much worse, right? Yes, very good, very good. Yeah, that's your immune system putting on the full show over something as small as a speck of pollen. Your body's whole inflammatory response is just a little more reactive these days, and it's genuinely like your internal alarm bells are set on that extra sensitive mode. A big part of this is because of what we just discussed, the histamine release. And when your mast cells get hyperreactive, they just flood your system with more histamine than usual. And it's not just the pollen causing this either. Think about chronic stress, for example. When you're constantly stressed, your body pumps out more cortisol. And it's really not just about feeling frazzled. Biochemically, cortisol can make your immune system less effective at calming down, while it's also cranking up inflammation. And the same goes for not getting enough sleep. And when you're sleep deprived, your immune system actually gets a little bit confused. It struggles to manage things properly. All these factors, the hormones, the stress, the sleep, they all team up. And that's why you might feel extra sensitive during allergy season. Now, if the allergies weren't enough, how about new food sensitivities? That glass of wine you used to love at the end of the day, or maybe even a healthy tomato, suddenly they might be causing you trouble. And it's not like it's like this true life-threatening allergy like some people have with peanuts, but it makes you feel crappy. You get that bloat, like you feel like you're 6 months pregnant, or you just feel discomfort, heartburn, constipation, or diarrhea even. And you know what?
What?
Most often you feel sluggish, irritable, and get that sense of low mood, but you can't put your finger on it. But you know it's there. And it has to do with intolerance or sensitivity. You would be surprised how common that is, actually. In my practice, I actually found that these food sensitivities, they manifest more in mental ways than the physical ways. And it goes to show you how powerful your gut-brain connection really is. Common culprits we see popping up are things like dairy or gluten, and sometimes even foods that are naturally high in histamine, like fermented foods or certain aged cheeses. And this is where a special enzyme called diamine oxidase, or DAO, comes in. Think of DAO as your body's personal histamine bouncer in the gut. Its main job is to break down histamine from the foods you eat, preventing too much from getting into your system. Here's the kicker. Estrogen levels, they can actually influence DAO activity. And when estrogen fluctuates or declines during perimenopause, the production or activity of this DAO enzyme can sometimes decrease. So if you have less DAO on duty, more undegraded histamine can kind of sneak into your bloodstream after you eat. And that extra histamine, that can contribute to those allergy-like symptoms. There's definitely a fascinating and powerful connection between your gut health and your hormones. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in exploring a little deeper. So what's the first step after your body feels like it's betraying you? It's about awareness. No need for alarm, just gentle curiosity, and start simply by just noticing. Keep a little symptom journal, nothing fancy, just jot down what you eat and how you feel afterwards. Did you get a sudden, like a sniffle after a glass of wine, or a little bloating after your morning toast? This simple practice, it helps you connect the dots, and when you understand the why at the deeper level, that's the first step toward feeling better.